would you rather have Tyler Herro and an extension with Tyler Herro, or would you rather have Ja Morant going forward? You know what I
Tyler,
mean?
because he's a 38% 3-point shooter on his career, and the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out as a first option, at least he grades out pretty well as a second option.
I'm glad that Swiper touched on sort of the psychological makeup of an athlete and upbringing and things, because it's probably an area of sports where we don't consider it too much. We don't consider the holistic picture. We usually see, to your point, Pen, the image that sort of transpires when someone hits the big time. But in terms of change of scenery, I think I agree. I think Miami's a good destination. I think a change of scenery is what he needs. Um, JJJ's been his rock, but there's a lot of rocks in Miami too. I think the Heat culture would be good for him. Maybe he needs a bit of structure and things of that nature. I actually think Miami and him need each other. I think Miami's lacking a little bit of star power, a little bit of someone dynamic, someone that can get out in the open floor, sell some tickets, get some excitement there, because the Heat trying to keep up in the East as well, and it's still an East to me that feels a little bit wide open. So I think
And,
it's a
and
great fit.
when they got Jimmy Butler, what was the trade for? It was the two guard and you remember what the trade was? It was another buy low package.
Josh Richardson, right?
Yeah, Josh Richardson and
Yeah.
somebody else, Damian. So maybe that's another situation where they just, the value's low, but he ends up turning out really well for them, being like an all NBA player again.
Once again,
Yeah, and I think Miami's missed out on, like, they missed out on Kyrie, they missed out on Kevin Durant, they missed out on, they were linked with Donovan Mitchell. There was a whole bunch of guys that Miami missed out on, and maybe now's the time to get a guy at a discount, take a flyer on a guy who's had some issues in the past, and maybe try and reinvent him in Miami, where there's structure, where they play a free flowing style. He can get out in transition. They can tap into some of his gifts. Even if he has regressed a little bit, I think that he should technically still be, still have his best basketball ahead of him. This is a 26-year-old man. Like, he should be entering his prime sort of in the next 1 or 2 years. Obviously, the league has changed and they prioritize different things like length at the position and defense and things of that nature. But I don't think anyone can sit here and say that he hasn't still got a lot left in the tank. So I agree, Swiper. I think they should. I think he's definitely worth a flyer at the very least, especially at a discount. And they have the financial flexibility and the draft capital, and they can make the money work as well. It's not like it's a complicated path to get him.
Who would
I
have
think
to be
there's-
involved? Who would have to be involved in that as far as players?
Tyler
They can do
Herro.
they can do like straight up Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier, or they can do like a combination of like Yaku, Simone Fontecchio, maybe some draft capital. But Tyler Hero is the most straightforward way, sort of financially.
Yeah, if Tyler got to go, then Ja, you can stay where you at.
I'd like to pair them, but it can be done. But it's
It's an interesting backcourt, Ja Morant and Norman Powell going forward. I mean, that's a lot of rim pressure. I mean, devil's advocate, he's just not that good.
You think he's like falling off?
See, I disagree with I disagree with that, Pin. And you
He
even kind of
once led the league in paint points. Do you realize how crazy that is for a 6'2" guard to lead the league in points in the paint? That ain't coming back. So with a lot of guys,
Why do you say it's not coming back though? Like,
because he's 26 years old, because that exact thing, like, look, it's the Derrick Rose, Derrick Rose situation all over again, right? You have a style of play, it's great for a little while, your body breaks down, you have to adjust your game, you don't have anything to fall back on. Unlike Derrick Rose, however, he has even less of a jump shot and even less of an in-between game. That, to me, is the worrying part. I haven't seen a great deal of adaptability and willingness to bend in Isolo's offense, an offense that, well, by the way, runs perfectly well without him. There's been talk for 2-3 years now. This is not recent. 2-3 years. Are the Memphis Grizzlies better without Ja Morant? Because every single time he doesn't play, it looks like we're perfectly fine. Put the ball in Desmond Bane's hands, put the ball in Scottie Pippen Jr.'s hands, we're perfectly fine. And then he comes out and he has a 40-point game against the Sixers, and people are like, right, superstar. Superstars are not made based on what you do every eighth game. It's what you do every night. And that hasn't been the case with him for like 4 years now. So I'm just saying, big name, huge highlight film. I understand it all. Me personally, though, if I'm the team trading for him, I'm very worried. I'm very worried that the thing that made him him does not exist in any form anywhere. That
Uh,
separation that he was getting at the rim as an athlete just isn't there right now. And look, man, I have seen it with Trae Young, who is a significantly better player, rounded player than Ja Morant as a playmaker, shooter, etc. When he lost his burst, we saw the production go flat. Like he just couldn't beat his guy off the dribble anymore. He couldn't get around. So it's like with these smaller athletes, that half a step lost is not like when KD lost half a step. Because when KD loses half a step, he's still 7 feet tall.
Yeah, he can still rise up over the top and shoot the ball.
Exactly. Ja Morant,
sure.
A, is not a good shooter. B, is not a good defender. C, is an off-court thing. D, mega contract. Huge contract. I mean, people are looking at $39 million. By the way, that shit goes up, and you need to negotiate an extension. So if he plays well for 1 year, let's just say you get like honeymoon period Ja Morant, and he plays pretty well this year, you negotiate a contract extension with him. Who knows? We're talking like in 3-4 years, he's making $50 million, and he is on the decline. I don't know. I think
He has
the best
2 more years left, so they could play it out. And then if they want to trade his value, they could.
Okay.
Well, Pin,
Does that sound like the type of player you would want to play it out with? Swiper, if he was on your team,
if he plays really well, yeah, we got 2 more years.
Yeah, because that's the thing right there, Pin. I can't get with you on he's not that good. I can't get with you on that. I think he might have, might not.
What does he do well?
He might not be playing up to the standard of the Ja Morant that we've once seen, but I can't get behind you on that he's just not good anymore. I think he could. I would like to see him play with like a Bam type player. I just don't. If I'm Miami, I'm not giving you Tyler Herro for Ja Morant. Like, and on top of that too, it's like you gotta also be able to look into the future a little bit, y'all. You already know what's gonna happen. If something goes wrong, Ja Morant gets in any type of trouble, and Pat Riley has to discipline, whatever. Then the whole world's gonna be like, "Oh, Pat Riley, he's just too old. He's out of touch. You can't treat Ja Morant like that." And it's gonna be another Jimmy Butler type situation where all of a sudden now Pat Riley, y'all gonna be calling for Pat Riley's head. You know what I'm saying? It's too much for too much for Miami, if you ask me. Too much of a risk. I wouldn't do it.
And so, depend. What does he do well? So he still grades out as an A+, shot creator, just not like a pin and play finisher. It's a different thing. He's not making those shots, but he's finished. He's getting the shots.
This is like B-ball index.
Yeah, rim shot creation. He grades out really well. Like just getting like down to the rim. He still does really well, like making shots like around the rim relatively. Now he's shooting. Rate. Yeah, free throw rate. He's also, I'm looking at it right now. He's pretty good rim protector for a guard too. Like, he's playing good defense out there, but that's just athleticism. He kind of always been able to do that. He still has value, but I do think getting him low for me, like,
is he a top 10 point guard, Swiper?
No. Would you rather have Tyler Herro and an extension with Tyler Herro, or would you rather have Ja Morant going forward? You know
Tyler,
what I mean?
Because he's a 38% 3-point shooter on his career, and the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out as a first option, at least he grades out pretty well as a second option. I mean, yeah, I get the talent equation. I understand the swapping homes redundancy argument of, okay, well, we tried it with Tyler Herro. I mean, y'all made to the finals with Tyler Herro. Just pointing that out.
I mean, 6 years ago?
Rookie.
Well, Tyler Herro's better than Ja Morant. It's just really, that's all that comes down to.
Tyler was an all-star last year.
He was.
When's the last time Ja was an all-star?
He had a better season last year, but I still don't know if I can just go out and say that he's better. And here's the thing. I just got to see it, y'all. I got it because I've played for a bunch of different teams, and I've been in a bunch of different environments where I just don't fit good with these players. I don't like that coach. I don't like that location. And it just was not good. I wasn't able to play good basketball. I wasn't not trying to play good basketball. I just wasn't able to play good basketball. Then when I transfer over to a new team, or when I get with a new program or a new coach, all of a sudden, boom, I feel like a whole new player. I'm averaging the most on the team. I'm averaging the most assists. I get the ball in places where it's more just advantageous. I'm just a whole new player. That's happened to me multiple different times in both directions. So, like, as of right now, and then you mentioned Isolo's offense. Well, maybe it's not Ja. Maybe it's the offense. Maybe Isolo should adapt to his best player. But sometimes coaches are who they are, and they only
He's
know
not
one
their
system.
best player.
Well, see, I disagree with that. But he was at one point their best player, and you said he came in and changed up the offense. Why would you do that for your best player? That's like me. That's like me going to LA and saying, "Yo, you know what? We're gonna play Austin Reeves ball, and Luka, I need you to just go over there and do this, this, and this." You don't necessarily do that when a player's your best player. However, I do want to say, because Damian spoke into this, what's Miami's pace in the NBA? What's their pace?
They've been first
fast.
for most of the year, right?
They fast.
So
They're still fast, yeah.
they have the highest pace in the NBA. Huh.
Mhm.
You get a guy like Ja Morant and you drop him right in that pace, up and down. I think that kind of fits his play style. I think that's what he wants to do. And I think that not only is that a place that I could assume he wants to be at, seeing that he just bought a spot there, not only is that a place that I could assume he wants to be at, just linking the reports and what his camp is saying, but also you get an up and down pace like that. You get him with Bam. You get him with Khalil Ware. You get him with a guy like Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell. If these guys stay and they're not involved in the trade, even Jaime Jaquez Jr., like I think that's a good situation for Ja Morant mentally and just a good fit. And, it's just a restart for him.
I'm with you on that.
Agree.
I'm with you on that.
I wish Cho was
Do
here
we?
so I could do this thing where I said,
I
what's
disagree,
the
like,
gap
on
between
purpose.
him and Colin Sexton? That, like, right now, what is that gap between
You don't
him
like
and
the
Colin?
fit? You don't like the fit in Miami, Mark?
Why
not?
don't you like him, Mars?
Memphis last year led the league in pace. Ja Morant was not good. The reason he was apparently not good for the Ja Morant defenders was that they changed the offense to run less pick and rolls and took the ball out of Ja's hands. The coach that implemented that is now in Miami, running less pick and rolls than Memphis did last year. So if Ja Morant is pick and roll reliant, why would you send him to the system that Ja Morant didn't like? And then the justification is going to be pace, when Memphis last year led the league in pace, running this system, and Ja Morant did not look good. I need the explanation as to how that makes sense to any of you guys.
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. There is a team, though, that makes a little bit of sense for Ja Morant.
How would y'all feel
Telespin?
if he went back to like the situation with Dallas?
Oh, Toronto?
Yeah.
You want him, Pen?
No.
Okay.
But but it makes sense.
Well, what's
It makes-
the gap? What's the gap between John and Quigley?
Quickly's a better shooter. Quickly's a better defender. Ja's a better player. I don't know. Like, that's the gap. Ja's
So
a better player.
You would rather have him over quickly then?
No, I wouldn't, because $32 million flat with no distractions and no real health concerns is a lot better than. I just think Toronto's already one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league, if not they're the worst 3-point shooting team. I think we
So
just
then
had
how does it make sense for Toronto? If
because I think everyone would become a better 3-point shooter with him. I think, like, he may not be a better 3-point shooter, but everyone becomes better 3-point shooter because the best 3-point shots would come off of his rim attacks. They just don't have Toronto is like a really weird team because they're 25 wins up and they don't have a single player who can create off a live dribble consistently. Scotty can do a little bit of it. BI can do a little bit of it. RJ can do a little bit of it, but they don't have anyone with his lead initiator tendencies. And his former assistant coach that he had his best success with, Darko Rajakovic, is currently the coach in Toronto. That's the only reason I could see it making sense, is I think Darko is the one coach in the league that has a relationship with him that perhaps he could bring him back a little bit and, maybe even get him to buy in. And I think Scotty's like a very team first type of, selfless star player that could maybe re-spark some of the joy in Ja. So, yeah, I mean, there's a world in which it could make a lot of sense. I just think
believe there's someone in the front office that used to be with Memphis that is in Miami now as well. So I think it could pin and work out as a similar situation with the Wizards, where Trae Young, the person that was in the spot in the front office when he got drafted, just was in Washington, and that was just the thing that made the trade work. It's like, I believe in my guy. But
Yeah,
one of these teams might take a
And
bite.
it'd be a similar deal to that.
No.
Yeah, but what about Damian Swiper? What about the fact that Ja doesn't like to run that type of offense though? Like that's a big to me it's stuff like that that just really irks.
But that's
me,
where
you know what I'm saying?
I got a
really
lot of
grinds my gears, Damian.
Yeah, I hear you, and it's valid, but that's where I put a lot of faith in Spo. Like I got a lot of faith in Spo. I think he can make it work. I think he's worked with all types of
What
talent.
does Ox always say? Coaches got to coach.
Yeah, but players got to be players. You got players out here that want to dictate everything. I don't want to run that type of offense. I can't do my thing in this type of offense. Like, well, you're not a good basketball player then. If you can only do this, if you can't change.
No, yeah, Ja is
run
flawed.
other things.
It's not news. Ja's flawed, and it's not whether Ja likes the offense or not doesn't change that he's clearly less effective in it. Like whether he likes it or not isn't going to change that. He can love the offense. If he's less effective, you're not getting the Ja Morant that you're paying for. So it's not. I don't think it's in Miami's best interest to them bring in the player who is maybe one of the most pick and roll reliant guards in the NBA, and then say, "Hey, no pick and rolls for you, but yeah, you need to be our franchise player." Like that just doesn't make sense for either side of the equation, in my opinion. Ja Morant's like success as a player comes when he has an elite screener next to him. That's not Bam Adebayo. It comes when he's running heavy pick and roll. If you look at Memphis offense, the best it ever is when Ja Morant shares the floor with a Zach Edey or a Steven Adams. I had to look it up because I wanted to confirm my eye test. Their offense, when Ja Morant doesn't share the floor, and this is going back to 2022, prime Ja Morant seasons, when Ja Morant doesn't share the floor with Steven Adams or Zach Edey, the Grizzlies have a negative offense. They're a below average offense. And there was a trend for them all the time. They were a negative half-court offense led by Ja Morant. When he shares the floor with one of them, when it's Zach Edey, a 121 offensive rating, that's a +6 offense. When it's Ja Morant and Steven Adams, it's a 120, which was also a +6 because the league's changed a little bit. So 120 was +6 relative in 23. So Ja Morant with an elite screener is what gets the best out of Ja Morant and probably the best out of your offense, depending on what team you are. So it just doesn't be that like, Miami makes no sense outside of culture, but like culture isn't going to make Ja Morant a different player. Right. It might make him bought in, but his flaw is going to be his flaws. Can Khalil be that? Khalil's not a hard hitting screener, and that's what Ja Morant needs. He needs to get the angles downhill. Khalil can like pick and pop and stuff, so like he's versatile in that sense. But you need like a big body. You need someone who's going. If they go under, he can flip the angle of the screen. Khalil Ware's not doing all of that type of stuff. You like, if I was a team, I would say Phoenix would be a team that I would look at for Ja Morant. Mark Williams can be that screener. They run a lot of pick and roll already. It fits into their system. They have multiple guys who can make decisions. They do like to play with pace. They force turnovers. It's just whether or not they want to get off Jalen Green before seeing what Jalen Green can be for them. But if I was Phoenix, that would be like the team I would look at for Ja Morant, not Miami or whatever.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, Ryan. After when I first saw that little video yesterday, I was like, "Oh, this ain't no big deal." You know what I'm saying? They just talking to each other, talking a little mess, you know. And then I saw another video where I was able to see what they were saying to each other.
The lip reading one, yeah.
Man, I'm just like, I don't really care where Ja Morant goes, but I'm off Ja Morant. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
Did you ever get into incidents like that when you were playing?
You know what Swiper? I've actually never. Well, they didn't. I don't know what happened after the video. Yeah. But I know I've never scuffled with a teammate.
Me neither.
I've bickered with a teammate. It's never gone. It's never gone even that far. Which honestly, it's not like it got physical. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to super hype that incident, but. I can't recollect any time where me and the teammate were in each other's face for more than 5-10 seconds.
We fought in practice, but never like off.
Yeah,
I'm talking about even in practice. Like I can't think of a time when me and the teammate ever went back and forth for longer than 5-10 seconds. Yeah. I did after the state championship. There was a locker room scuffle I was involved in, but that the season doesn't count. But but. It was directly after the state. It was directly after the state championship game, so the season technically was over.
Y'all lose?
Yeah, we lost.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I seen
But
that.
I was happy though. It wasn't. I didn't initiate the fight. I didn't start it. It came at me. But anyways though, so the thing with Ja Morant and all that, it's just kind of like I'm just tired of it, bro. I'm just tired of it. It's been too much. It's been from in. I know a lot of people want to just erase all the stuff in the past, but that stuff matters. But it's about your mindset. It's about who you are as a person. And I just don't care where Ja Morant goes. But keep him away from Miami.
I think like it's different though, like Ox, when you're in, and Swiper, when you're in like the heat of competition, or like you've just lost, or like something's happening, like they're at shoot around, man. Like nothing's happening, and you're trying to give the NBA a good name, and got all this NBA Europe stuff. You're in another country, Ja Morant. I have a lot of friends that work for NBA Germany, and they were there, and Ja Morant just wouldn't give them the time of day yesterday in the media as well, and it was like created this like really bizarre atmosphere where he's sort of like no one really wanted to get around him, but they sort of had to cover him. Like it was one of those things. So yeah, I was speaking to him yesterday. It was really interesting to hear what he said, but to do that like publicly, and then for it to go on and actually like want to potentially put hands on a teammate when you're not in competition was a little bit worrying. But
yeah,
it's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the chat throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops all hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.